The first match of the round, and Brisbane at home for Balmain. Round 20 of the Winfield Cup, and a big crowd is on hand at ANZ Stadium as the Broncos set about getting it right from last Friday night. There's their lineup: O'Neill, Hancock, Renouf, Johns, Kahn, Walters, Langer, Lazarus, Walters, G, Gilmeister, Cairn, Madison, Wayne Bennett the coach. As Balmain come out, a daunting task for them. Although head-to-head since Brisbane came into the competition, Balmain look very strong. There's the team for Balmain: Brasher, Lyons, Sinclair, Edwards, Corcoran, Wood, Baysari, Edmed, Brown, Marcella, Sirinen, Carroll and Munro. Alan Jones the coach. Only lost the one game. It was in round 3 to Parramatta. Peter pointed that out earlier. Greg McCallum is the man. He's got the whistle for this match of Friday night football from the ANZ. Sirinen goes back and meets them. It's Jamie Corcoran. Didn't look to have a lot of venom in it, that hit up. Brasher gets away from one. He's under an injury cloud, even up till lunchtime today. Now Edmed.
This has been a very ordinary start from Brisbane. 2 or 3 missed tackles in the first 4 of the game. With Julian O'Neill in good position to take that one on the full. Kevin Wallace falling off some tackles. Is that one affected nicely by Jason Sinclair on the Brisbane fullback.
Langer. Cross for Kevin Walters. Wrapped up by the Balmain 5/8 Nathan Wood. Andrew G wears the number 10 tonight. Mark Hone is out injured. Gilmeister. Oh! Put away. Nassau. Lazarus now.
Yeah, this is a big hit by Marcelo. He's a big hit merchant, the Balmain side. And they really shocked the Broncos in the opening seconds of this game.
Brasher getting an ordinary bounce. Yeah. 30 metres away from his own line. This is Masala. There's the points table for these two sides. 28 for Brisbane. 11 for Balmain, including the 2 points that were taken away from them. Sirinen.
Tim Brasher, who was under a cloud coming into this game and behind his teammates, really struggling with a leg injury. Doubt whether he'll be out there much longer. With Willie Kahn met by a good straight line of Tiger chasers there. But Brasher in all sorts of strife behind play.
Julian O'Neill. Only 3 players in this Balmain side in the same positions that they were when these two sides met in the first round. Was it Leichhardt? Naturally enough. Andrew G. slammed down by Sirinen. Nathan Wood, the 5/8. He plays in the headgear. Gets through quite a bit of work in defence. Brasher gingerly comes back. He's limping on that leg. Brisbane, I think, may have read that. Decided to go to Brasher. Lyons neatly around and through and away. Lyons still going. Johns in pursuit. Still going as Lyons. Magnificent run. Chance for the Tigers. Brown away. Baysari for Sinclair. 10 metres out, penalty. Balmain right in front.
Well, the Broncos thought they were in for an easy night. They're in trouble. Graham Lyons has carved them up. A 90-metre run by him, or 70 to 90-metre run. Very flimsy defence. In the end, it was only good cover by Chris Johns would save the try, but look at this very ordinary defence. Johnsy missed him in the first place. A couple of blokes called touch, he didn't stop, and away he goes. O'Neill misses him at the fullback, and now Johns has got him covered for pace, but still misses the tackle again. And I think Lyons is too tired to go any further.
What do you think of this next bit, Paul? I thought that Sinclair needed to let the ball go. He did a good job straightening the play up there. And I thought, look, you can see the number 13, Matty Munro, out wide in the headgear. He was very disappointed the ball didn't come.
Well, Corcoran put his arms up there. He was unmarked on the outside.
15 goals for the year for Corcoran. Just off centre. Balmain with a chance, but no. No score in the early minutes. Davis. Masala. Whether Alan Jones felt that Brisbane was so vulnerable, he should put another ball player out there like Davis. Sinclair for Brasher for Corcoran. Oh, great defence. Michael Hancock. Chance for the Tigers. Sinclair, Davis, Nathan Wood, Paul Sirenen. 3 metres out. Tackle number 5. Floating pass for Sinclair. Taken by O'Neill.
And now another penalty. I think we'll go to the Broncos here. It's Sinclair being called out for this tackle. O'Neill is still down injured. Great play by the Tigers. They're on fire, the Tigers.
And they should have scored a try there if the pass had gone to the right man. This is the penalty. The swinging arm from Sinclair up very high. And a beautifully worked move. Great tackle there from Hancock.
And Julian O'Neill is being taken from the field.
Just wondering if he might send Sinclair off here.
He sent O'Neill off.
Yeah, well, he's gone. He's a Gary. But Sinclair's running back to position now. It looks like maybe another Balmain player being called out. He's been called back. He might be gone yet.
Or at the very least a report.
The crowd, they want him off, but that's not surprising. The penalty goes to Brisbane naturally.
You'd think still, with the touch judge coming in, that there will be a report on that incident there with the swinging arm in the tackle.
I don't think there's any doubt at all, Paul. There was no reason to call him back and call the captain out unless that was going to be the situation. As Brisbane fine touch 40 metres out.
Lazarus struggling down to the halfway line for Glenn Lazarus. Eleven State of Origin players in the Brisbane side tonight. Just 2 Origin players in the Balmain lineup, and one of them is playing on valiantly, Tim Brasher. Renoff through a hole, 1 to beat. Brasher was equal to it. Here they come again. Second phase play, and Madison's over the line. There'll be an appeal for double movement, but I don't think he's promoted the ball. It's a try.
Oh, and they've just hit back Brisbane here, and it's been sensational work from Steve Renoff down the left side of the ruck. Jason Sinclair, I think, was caught out here. As the play goes wide, he frees it there. You see that Jason Sinclair has actually pointed to the player inside to take Renoff, and it's a missed tackle by Paul Davis. I thought if he'd have thrown the pass there to John Platt, who's on the wing position, he'd have scored. But what about that pass there? Straight to Terry Madison. Now the momentum takes Madison over. That's a try.
Well, I believe Peter's right. You'll find that the arm carrying the ball has come in contact with the ground, but the player's momentum hasn't been halted, and he does not deliberately promote the ball with the arm carrying the ball.
Great ball from Kerrod Walters, Fatty, and that's what Brisbane can do to you.
Yeah, well, was it forward? A bit of a question mark over that pass, I felt. This pass coming up here from Kerrod Walters, that one. Meadows tears his shorts on the run through. Didn't worry about it. Over he goes. McCallum looked at his touch judges before he awarded the try.
He was right on top of it, McCallum. Right in front almost for Terry Madison. Brisbane leading Balmain by 6 points to 0. Gene, what's the story on Julian O'Neill?
Right, he's got a very serious case of concussion, and he will rest up until half-time and have that extra 10 minutes over the half-time break. And just going back to that try, that was exactly the same play that Mal intercepted that try off last week. It was just Kevin put the ball right at Stephen Roof's breadbasket, and he did the rest from there.
A real test of character now for Balmain. They have dominated this first 20 minutes. Again, some great defence, those last two tackles from the Tigers, but they look up and they see on the scoreboard they're 6 down. Really got to steel themselves for a big effort now. Make sure that all that early effort does not go unrewarded.
Jamie Corcoran. 15 out from the Balmain line. 6-0 in favour of the Broncos. It took them 20 minutes to get there. This is Morven Edwards. Played well for the Kiwis in the Test series. Big crowd, as I said earlier, they're looking for 44,000 tonight, and that would take them to $1.5 million for the year at their home games. Great night in Brisbane as Baysari finds the line just inside the 20, Brisbane's end of the ground. He's been very valuable for Alan Jones and Balmain, David Baysari, since leaving the Parramatta club.
He's a good player. He's played a lot of football in the 5/8 and centre roles. He seems to have found a niche at the halfback position, and he seems to have a good sense of when to throw the ball out wide and when to get his forwards off him.
It's always difficult with that utility value, and you find yourself playing all over the place. Been a much better player since he's settled down in the number 7 shirt. And of course his kicking game is so important to Balmain as well. He's got a very good kicking game. As Michael Hancock takes the first pass off the scrum win and makes a good 15 metres.
Timmy Brasher was in the front line on that occasion, and he went in on Hancock. Totally unorthodox, and he paid the penalty. This is Andrew G. Right on the halfway line. Brian Smith is coming on for Balmain. Lazarus. Madison. Floating pass for Walters. Johns running into the defence. Corcoran came off. Langer. Rubber kick for himself. Play on, says the referee. Walters away, Madison back inside. Khan picks it up, scoops it back infield. Now it comes off the boot of one of those players over there. And it'll be interesting. I think it came off Brisbane, yes.
The referee was signalling 6 to go there from the incident. Corcoran's laying off the field there in a bit of pain. Beautiful play by Langer, picked it up, found some support out here and carried Walters. Nice inside ball from Madison. He's all over the park, Madison. This is 6 to go from here. In the end, the ball goes out. Balmain now in possession.
Unconfirmed report from Sydney regarding the Parramatta coaching job, and I emphasise unconfirmed, that Mick Cronin has opted out of the Parramatta coaching job in 1994. Edmed. Good yards. Two big fellows, Sirinen and Edmed. Brian Smith on now.
Yes, and amazing how we were just talking about David Baysari's utility value. As Smith's first touch of the football is a good one, finding 30 or 40 metres. You see Baysari out in the centres now. Michael Hancock receiving attention. Just cops I think we've seen him cop a boot in the face here, accidental. There wasn't a boot, it was just the fend off. But Brian Smith has gone to half-back, and Baysari has been pushed out into the centre position. Morven Edwards now on the wing for Balmain.
Walters. Very big match coming up for Brisbane here in a fortnight against St George. That could very well have a bearing on the top 3. Just looking at the for and against. Canberra a mile in front on for and against points, but of course they're 1 point behind Canterbury and St George coming into this round. Andrew G picked up and driven into the ground by Paul Davis, and Balmain's inside the 10 metres, and McCallum says, watch me, I want you behind me.
It's a shame because they're defending very well, the Tigers tonight. Blokes like Marcella and Davis are really driving in hard in defence and getting amongst the Brisbane players.
Again, that's a tough penalty for mine. They had a good wind-up there, Brisbane. There was a good 10, 15 metres between the attacker and the defenders. I just thought it was one of those occasions where it could have been play on.
Greg McCallum has called timeout for the blood bin. There is some concern at the Rugby League about certain coaches might use the blood bin as a way of slowing play down, but I believe during the finals there's going to be a time limit of 30 seconds placed on it. Alan Can, did well. Gilmeister for Walters. Langer. Madison. Paul Hoff was on in 14. 7 metres out from the line. Langer. Through Gilmeister, it went away. Walters, they've got the overlap. They should score. Khan does it in the corner and improves.
And the Broncos strike again. This is a matter of just too many men on the right-hand side. The big overlap. Balmain's defence didn't spread. Wayne Bennett go to the 10-0 lead. The Broncos, just look how much space there is out wide there. Nice ball here. That's good play. Second phase play there by Walters. Baysari came in. From here, it was always going to be a try, and Khan finishes it off nicely.
12th try of the year for Willie Khan.
Yeah, and the key pass there was the one that brought David Baysari in, which was that one to Kevin Walters. That left Graham Lyons with the unenviable task. 3 men in front of him. 2 of them were Renouf and Khan. And Khan always sinking, hadn't grounded the ball, and just takes it 2 or 3 metres closer to the posts to make that conversion attempt that touched. Just under 8 minutes to go in this first half, trailing by 16. I get the impression that Balmain need to score before the half-time break if they're to be able to go on and be a chance in this game. Good run there. A perfect attacking position here, centre field. They've got 4 tackles up their sleeve, but they need to put some points on the board before the half-time break.
Sirinen on a wide blind. Still going, Paul Sirinen.
Great run.
Brian Smith. Nathan Wood puts it down. McCallum calls it a knock-on.
And it's frustrating. Just taking the eyes off the ball there, Nathan Wood. He knows that he came up with a big mistake. Looking to get the ball out as quickly as he could to his outside men. And there's the little, well, that is another one, Paul. Gave himself, it wasn't an uppercut, but it wasn't too far from it.
Renouf hasn't started yet. I say that he hasn't got amongst the spoils for Brisbane so far. Kevin Walters. Amazing turnaround in the game for those of you that just joined us. Madison, hand off for Renouf. Inside ball, beautiful play. Hancock gets the try. Renouf. I said he hadn't been among the spoils 5 seconds ago, and then he chimes in. Madison does well. He's been the man of the match so far.
You can thank Terry Madison for this. There's man on man here. A little dummy, missed tackle once again by Balmain. Another one by Sinclair. Renouf's pace does the rest. And the speculator inside. And Mickey Hancock's on target here. Lovely try to the Broncos. The one-hander put down. Great play by Madison. Look at this.
Yeah, I don't think it was a speculative, Fatty. I thought that he weighed this up. He's had a little look. He knows that Hancock's gone back inside. A beautifully weighted pass. He just read his winger's mind. And that's good centre play, knowing how the winger has positioned himself.
108 for the year for Terry Madison. He laid that try on, and he misses the conversion. This is how it happened. Madison and then Renouf. He looked outside, as Peter said. Hancock wasn't there, so he knew he was on the inside. A one-handed put down by Michael Hancock, but the try is on the board. And the little Broncos pony does another lap of honour. He's on target for the cup. Interesting to see during the week that Bill Harrigan admitted that try. Here's another break made by the Broncos. Great run down the ground by Alan Cairn, put down by John Platt. Renouf played a part again.
Broncos starting to run right now. The Balmain defence under all sorts of pressure. Missed tackle by Brian Smith, another one by Sinclair. Renouf's on hand again. That last pass there to Plath went astray, but this is looking ominous for Balmain now. This could be anything.
John Plath is injured. Callum goes over to check that it's not a blood bin incident. Yes, it was interesting to see that Bill Harrigan admitted that try disallowed for Brisbane was in fact a try. Well, he didn't admit it, but Michael Stone did to the public. And when you take that into account, and of course the intercept by Mal Meninga, I suppose Brisbane can reflect on the match and say, well, the scoreboard wasn't all that bad. That's probably the way they've got to think about it. Nathan Wood turning it inside. Brasher reaching the halfway mark. Wood again. Brian Smith. Davis. Chip and chase for himself. Will he regather? Yes, he will. Can he find somebody outside? Yes, he can. More than Edwards. More than Edwards is only 15 metres out from the line. Last tackle for Balmain. Wood. Smith. Long pass. Look at the Jason Sinclair.
Accuracy.
Jason Sinclair gets a hand to it and he knocks it offline.
And a penalty now to the Balmain side. The Balmain player knocked down after he kicked the football. Looks like Brasher.
Brasher's injured.
Here he is, little chip over. Terry Madison put an arm out. The Balmain side going for a try.
Serenan just a metre out. Now Edmund! Edmund's over! Held up in goal! Held up the big fella. Tim Brasher's in a lot of trouble out there.
Yeah, Edmund tried to use his power and speed to get over there. He's quite pacey for a front rower, but Hancock came over late and held him up. Tim Brasher is getting some assistance.
I find it hard to think the Brisbane player could have pulled out of this. Just haven't. Balmain anyway as we get back to it live. Attacking the corner, Brian Smith. Driven back. Good tackle, Terran Walters. Wood. That's the try line just on the top right-hand corner of the screen. Sinclair. Davis. More than Edwards. 11 metres out. Smith. Wood. Steps off his left foot. 8 metres out from the line. 20 points to 0 in favour of Brisbane. Michael Brown. Brisbane's ball.
Brisbane's ball and some super defence there from the Broncos. Balmain had plenty of tackles on them there. Tried everything, but Brisbane's defence was great. That's the sort of defence Wayne Bennett would be looking at going into the semi-finals. He'd be pretty disappointed with their first 20 minutes, I would imagine, Benny. He'd be filthy, actually, but the last 20 have been super.
Callum calls time off. Half-time siren has sounded. And as Paul Vaughton just said, and rightly so, Balmain started really great. Tim Brasher, I don't know that he'll be back. But then Brisbane started to get it together, and then wave after wave of attack rained down on Balmain. And so the scoreboard shows 20-0. The Broncos over the Tigers at the ANZ. No sign of Tim Brasher. Brian Smith to kick off. Brisbane from right to left. Breeze, not a strong one. It's into them in the second half. Great rugby league night in Brisbane. Crowd of about 40,000 plus. And Peter Ryan is on for the Broncos. Now Lazarus, they got a quick play the ball. The big fella takes advantage of this new 10-metre rule. Kerrod Walters does the same. Steve Renouf claps on the speed, comes to Morven Edwards, was taken late, it'll be a penalty. Penalty where the ball landed. Renouf was taken out of it.
Well, let's just have a look at this. You can see the gesture there from Greg McCallum. Morven Edwards claiming that he didn't have any choice in the matter, and this will show it perfectly. Renouf, the little kick through. Morven Edwards, well, yeah, he could have pulled out that bat a lot earlier than he did. And Brisbane have taken the quick tap again. Walters up the middle. Opening seconds, they look dangerous again.
Centre of the ground. 10 metres out. Can takes the tackle. Madison turns it. Walters was going one way, ran out of support, came back looking for troops and found Trevor Gilmeister. 8 metres out, now they go to a wide blind. Renouf gets his pass away for Hancock. 10 metres out. Langer. Gee, he couldn't have left that pass any later. Played by Ryan. Through Langer. Walters doing a few little dances there on the one blade of grass before Lazarus advances, stands and gets it away for Kerrod Walters. Lofts the pass out. Was it touched? Yes, it was. 6 more tackles. Madison away. Hancock inside. Hancock still going. Put down a metre out. That's the first tackle. Kerrod Walters. Langer. O'Neill. He's back with us now. Masala.
Mercifully there for Balmain. The ball came loose. A try-saver from Morven Edwards on Michael Hancock was a great tackle. Graham Lyons beats 3 defenders straight up the middle of the ruck. You see here the ball coming loose. Paul Davis got his hand up there. And Balmain, they were under siege.
Just a fraction surprised that Brisbane would risk Julian O'Neill. We had a report of heavy concussion earlier in the night. He must have said to them, "I'm okay to go back, Gene."
Yeah, he did. Ray, he was very keen. He had a 30-minute break, actually, so he's fine. He's got his senses back. Wayne Bennett mentioned in the room at half-time that he reminded his players that Canberra led Balmain 32 points to 12 not 2 weeks ago, so they are a team that can come back from this sort of scoreline. So he's very happy, though. He's just a little bit concerned, obviously, with the defence in the first 10 minutes.
Khan around Lyons, ringed by the defence. Gilmeister. Madison. Was probably their best player in the first half, Terry Madison.
The whole back row for Brisbane tonight has played exceptional football. Cam, Gilmeister and Madison.
Langer with a kick across the ground. Morven Edwards is playing full back now for Balmain. Wrapped up by Khan. Smith. That's young Michael Brown. Been waiting in the shadows of Ben Elias. And with the Australian representative out injured, he gets his chance to impress. Baysari. Lions. A grubber kick. Langer has to put his body on the line.
The only problem with the Balmain play there is Brisbane looked to do exactly the same thing by throwing the wide passes. And Julian O'Neill cleaned up out wide. For Balmain, nobody went towards the defence, so nobody was committed, which meant it was a very easy task for the Brisbane defenders just to slide across. And when Lions caught the football, really nothing had been created for him.
Gilmeister.
And we said that Tim Brasher had been under a cloud coming into this game. He actually has a cork calf, and we don't expect him to come back the rest of this game.
Chris Johns. Willie Kahn wrapped up, submitting in the tackle so as not to be taken over touch. Walters chipping ahead. Edwards wrapped up again by Kahn. Complete winger Willie Kahn. Now they turn it wide very quickly. Davis finds Sinclair. Inside ball for Brian Smith. Outside pass now. Balmain on the attack.
Carroll tackled centre field. Now it was good work by Davis. Did exactly what I said they didn't do on the first backline movement. Oh, great tackle there. All coming loose. Cleaned up by Brisbane, but a good shot front on there by Trevor Gilmeister. Who else? So the technique is just great with Gilmeister. He's not an overly big man, but he gets down low and he drives up, and that's what the good front-on defenders do in this game. Their timing is superb and their technique is outstanding.
Here's the Broncos making the ball do the work. Held and put down by Lions. James Carrick is on for Balmain. Madison and Renoff. They work the angle. Renoff inside the 20. Finds Hancock, and Hancock gets his second.
Steve Renoff, freak, absolute freak. The way Terry Madison turned him back inside there, he had plenty of work to do. Madison's having an absolute stormer out wide. He's creating a lot of havoc and really serving up some good balls to his outside men. Here he goes again. Nice ball here from Gilly as well. Now he draws a couple there. The inside, watch how he changes the ball in his hands a couple of times. Beats half a dozen of them. And Hancock having a fielder.
Having some fun running onto those selective passes from Steve Renoff. One arm put down again, and this created the try. Carroll didn't read that at all well. Brian Smith was a little slow in coming across. And Steve Renoff, he's a very strong player, again, for not a big man. Strong in the legs. And the pass was a good one. Michael Hancock again positioning himself on the inside.
Madison. No problem for him. The Broncos extend their lead. 8 minutes gone second half to 26 points to 0. There's the crowd, 39-193. Plenty to be said for the one team, one city syndrome, isn't there? 40,000 people out on a Friday night watching Brisbane play Balmain out of semi-final contention, so it's a big vote of approval for the ANZ and for Rugby League. Here's Renoff now doing the dancing again. 27 metres up. The last. Langer. Wide kick chance here. Yes! Try for Kahn. Willie Kahn gets the try. The combination was denied. A fair try in an Origin match this year, but it has not been turned down by McCallum tonight. He's a mile onside Willie Kahn.
And he had the advantage of running to the football, whereas Lyons had to turn his back. Didn't know where it was going, and Willie Kahn kept his eye on it for about 30 metres. And when Lyons made the simple error, hard one to get for Lyons. Didn't envy him in that position, and Kahn too easy.
Terry Madison with 3 out of 5 for tonight. He could have come up with none out of 5, really, with the way he's been playing. That is coming back. It's coming back, and it's a goal from nearly the touchline. 32 points to 0. 17 gone second half. This is how Kahn scored the try. Smith. Brown. Carroll. Brisbane seem to be consummately handling whatever Balmain can throw at them. Maybe the big fella can upset them. Sirinen falling a couple of metres short. Punches have been thrown.
A little frustration creeping in here. Paul Sirinen, I think Willie Kahn was the player involved. And things started to get a little out of hand. See G in the middle of it now. The touch judge was straight in. Taking a while to untangle this rabble. I think you'll find it will be Paul Sirinen. Willie Kahn, Fatty, he looked to be the guy making the tackle. He's Sirinen out of dummy half. He pushes off Kahn once, twice.
Well, it's a big run by Ciro, and just there, Willie Kahn threw a forearm, a elbow to the back of Ciro's head. Oh, Andrew G threw a beauty, but missed. He's a man you don't want to take either, Paul Sirinen. He can fire up.
Let's just have a look at how wide this does erupt. One over the top there, and there's one in return. Andrew G did have a couple of air swings there. And a Brisbane penalty. No, it's going to Balmain. Kahn, the man penalised.
Big Ciro, eh? I took him on once a few years ago. He hit me that many times I thought I was surrounded.
Baysari. Nathan Wood. Morven Edwards. Brisbane came up very fast on that play. Balmain actually lost 20 metres. Davis. Smith. Edmed. That's the familiar Langer tackle on the big men. Arms first, then the legs. That's permissible. Sinclair. Carrick goes down fast. But the ball's over the line now. Who took it there?
Yeah, Carrick did. He needed to put that on the toe. Why wouldn't you? You're so far behind. It was a good kick from Sinclair because it gave Carrick a free run. And he had to keep that in play with the foot somehow. Going down on it, he was always going to go over the sideline.
This is the Langer tackle I was talking about.
Well, it is a trip, but it's a legal
I still
trip,
think it's a big question mark over his tackling style. He's done about 4 or 5 of them tonight, and a bit dusty, some of them.
Yeah, why the question mark, Paul?
Well, just
Does
to
he get
me,
his hands on the player
well,
first?
to me, I reckon the legs are there first.
Andrew G fired up now. 40 metres out from their line. Karen Walters. Langer. What you might do is take that apart on Sunday in the footy show. Slow it right down.
We might do. Rabs will pull 4 or 5, 8 and just have a quick look at them.
Yeah, unfortunately the referee doesn't have that advantage, does he? But I guess that it is worth looking at just to see if it is legal. It happens very quickly, so hard to adjudicate on in a split second.
Addison weighting the ball down into the corner. Dean Wheeler, the most recent Balmain replacement, took it back. And this is James Carrick. Edmed. Nathan Wood. Davis.
So this is where I think Paul Sirenen needs to inject himself. He had a great first 10 or 15 minutes, but for mine, he has phased out of the game too much. There's no support here for Smith, but he's found open spaces. Was interfered with there by Lazarus, but it's called play on.
O'Neill. Inside pass for Madison. Steve Renoff out wide in that Brisbane backline. He's one short of equaling his record number of tries for Brisbane in a season. He may well do that tonight. Gilmeister.
Well, Gilly's run 10 yards backwards and still made ground.
Langer. Peter Ryan. That's a good ball away for Kevin Walters. Now they're 9 metres out, and this is the last. Langer for himself. David Baysari just there in time. But what's McCallum ruling now? Baysari to the blood bin.
It's Carroll there to the side of Greg McCallum. Baysari's already left the field. And they're going to have a second player off.
And Matt Munro finally getting back on the field.
A clash of heads there.
Yeah.
Baysari and Carroll.
32 points to nil, 68 minutes gone.
The 12 minutes he was on, he was just about their best, Balmain. It's an incredible decision.
Well, he looks fresh.
Very fresh.
Well, that's the quickest repair job I've ever seen done on David Baysari. Play has been actually waiting for him to be bandaged. Willie Kahn. 30 metres out. G. Madison ran off. Pass goes behind Hancock.
And we've got a blue in the background. Well, it's not in the background anymore. And Sinclair is copping a hiding there. I think he'd like some more teammates to come in. Finally, Brian Smith and Sirenen arrive. For a couple of seconds there, it was 3-on-1, and Jason Sinclair was not in a good position. Let's just see what happened here. Brisbane throwing the ball out. Sinclair comes in. He goes a little bit high on, I think it's O'Neill, who throws the first punch. And then Sinclair, well, he lands a couple. G comes in. Julian O'Neill.
Well, one-on-one, Sinclair had O'Neill covered. And then the support came in, and then
Andrew G made a difference, didn't he?
Didn't he? What?
It's going to be interesting to see what the touch judge saw here, whether he saw Sinclair as the player who initiated the problem by going high on O'Neill, who was a decoy player, or whether it's going to go against Julian O'Neill. Oh, he set him off. He's gone. Unbelievable.
Probably riding high in McCallum's mind has been that offence earlier in the night, which I'm sure he was on report about.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's an elbow involved here, whether he's gone in with the elbow. He's definitely gone. Let's just have a look at it. Going to be a little bit difficult to pick up. I think a touch of an elbow there, and O'Neill reacted immediately. The penalty against Balmain, obviously. And Jason Sinclair will be doing well to finish the season.
Lazarus. It was O'Neill that Sinclair got with the high shot earlier. He put O'Neill out of the game for half an hour. Now they're all starting to get them fairly high. Madison. G. Nathan Wood.
Gino, you're down lower, so you might have had a better view than us up high, but nothing to report on that. Did you happen to see it at all?
I think the linesman reported that Sinclair did use an elbow on O'Neill, and then I think they just decided to square up from that previous incident early in the first half.
Masala. O'Neill collared by Nathan Wood. Peter Ryan.
That's great play by the Broncos. You know, Peter Ryan, a back rower, back there to support his fullback. And because he was there, they gained an extra 10 to 12 metres.
This scoreline tonight for Brisbane is going to help their points for and against, their percentages, keeping in mind that they will become important. The teams that are equal, other than in 5th position. The 5th side into the semi-finals are never decided on points for and against, but others are. And Brisbane, with a 32 points to nil lead, have increased their margin between for and against to 155 tonight, which would take them 12 in front of St George, 13 in front of Manly.
Balmain come up with a mistake on the first tackle again. Ray, just going on from that point you were making, as Renouf into open spaces here, he'll score.
Yeah, they won't catch him, Pete. Well, there he goes in to score the try that equals his best for a year. In 1991 for Brisbane, he scored 15, and that equals it tonight. Steve Renouf, Australian centre three-quarter, and had a pretty ordinary game last Friday night. He admitted that.
Balmain pushing the pass. The ball goes astray. Willie Kahn does some very good work here. Took the blinkers off, looked up, found where the space was. Paul Davis here, they didn't read it too well at all. Renouf running into space, into fresh air, and under the sticks he goes.
Greg McCallum almost getting in his road as he goes over the line to score.
Just, if we can see Kerrod Walters, we're not going to see him. Kerrod Walters, when the ball was dropped, actually started pointing to Willie Kahn out wide to where Renouf was. And that's the immediacy in this Broncos outfit. They always attack from a changeover, and Kerrod Walters, the hooker, pointed to his teammate who picked the ball up that that's where the gap was to be made, out wide.
Madison loves this. They're giving him some presentations. He might be getting another one later on. 38-0 Brisbane.
I'll just show you here what I'm talking about with Kerrod Walters. It's picked up, as we freeze it there, that's Kerrod Walters. Have a look where he's pointing to his teammate where to go. That's great work. He knew that there was going to be an overlap out wide. Davis came in and Renouf finished things off. But that's why this is a class side. The awareness of where the ball needs to go at certain times in the game is outstanding.
38-0. Brisbane on 28 points in the Winfield Cup. They will join Canterbury and St George at the end of tonight. Keep in mind there are some very important games to come. Matches like St George versus Canterbury, Brisbane versus St George, Canberra versus Canterbury. Now they're away again. Khan's got support outside. Finds it in Kevin Walters. Langer gets amongst the spoils. And Brisbane are bolting away. The Broncos have bolted.
David Baysari was unfortunate here. He played a pretty good defensive role. He got in between the support player, but there was just too much there. A blindside raid again. Baysari was inside Morvan Edwards, who went for the intercept. Now there you'll see he goes inside. Khan finds Kevin Wallace, who did a great job to be there, and the two inside halves did a tremendous job to be out there to support their speed men out wide.
That was pretty poor play there by Morvan Edwards, just going for an intercept, two-man overlap. Should have drifted back and put some pressure on the attacking players, but Brisbane, it's been another good performance. At times, they've been very slack with their ball control, but heading into the semis, they're looking pretty good to make it back-to-back premierships.
Takes their for and against from a plus 123 to a plus 165. Make that plus 167. 44-0. 77 gone, and he's starting to get a sweat up, the little fella. This is how it happened. Khan knew he had them inside, then all of a sudden he got this call on the outer. Langer gets try number 8 for the year. So the Broncos will be happy to do Friday night television matches, I think. They just respond to it. Gilmeister. Only a matter of seconds to go. Not that they were ever offline for the semi-finals after last Friday night. They really put on an impressive showing here for the last 60 minutes.
They were under some pressure, weren't they, Ray? When you consider that the teams above them, as they continue to keep the ball alive here, will all go in as pronounced favourites this weekend, and probably Manly and North Sydney are the same. So they had to win this game, and it's a danger game for them.
That should be play on, I feel. Might sound like a crazy comment, but it looked to me as though it was raked out by Balmain. Interesting little point here.
Well, I thought he might have dropped cold here, Reps.
You reckon still?
There's a hand in there.
I reckon Baysari's raked it out of Langer's hands.
Fortunately, not going to have too much significance in the scoreline. It's been very impressive from Brisbane against the team, as we pointed out at the head of the program. They're in pretty good form, the Tigers.
Interesting to try and imagine who's going to be in that first sudden death semi-final this year. Knock-ons both ways. Have you had a chance to analyse it, either of you two?
Well, I think Manly are there, and they play the Gold Coast, East and West, so I would see them winning those 3 matches. East will be hard to beat at the stadium next weekend. And it's up to North, really. North have got to stay in touch. They've got a couple of harder games. I think Manly will grab that 5th spot, if not 4th or maybe 3rd.
Yeah, that's fine, but who do you think they'll play in the sudden deather? Here they go again! Renoff! Inside Edwards! Picks up Hancock! Oh, how many tries has he scored now?
3.
Is that 3 for the night? Blood coming from the mouth wound. Brisbane online to make it the half-century.
A certain arrogance in that try, and the fact that Steve Renoff ignored an unmarked player on his outside and ended up giving it to a player to score under the posts. Baysari, not enough speed, just got stood up there by Steve Renoff, who has the best footwork in the competition. He had a player outside unmarked, but yeah, Michael Hancock will give it to him. Triple somersault there from Brian Smith coming off the tackle. And that will bring up the 50 with this conversion. That's the move there. That was the important one.
Once again, beautiful footwork there by Renoff. Balmain down to 12 men. Lack of cover. No lock forward coming over. And Hancock, once again, the one-handed put down.
Jerry Madison.
They'll hit 50. They'll hit 50 here.
Yeah. That's very good mathematics, Paul.
48 and 2, is that right?
48 plus 2 makes 50. You've done it again. The siren has sounded. The Broncos defeat Balmain. Half a century to nothing.